Hi everyone, welcome back to the DSA series. In this section, we'll be learning an important approach called two-pointer approach, where we use it by having two pointers or two variables initially placed at two extreme positions of the list or the string. The reason why I'm telling that this is the most commonly used approach to solve any DSA problem by satisfying the required time complexity and space complexity is because instead of using multiple for loops or nested loop, it is better to use this approach where we can traverse the elements in the list in both the directions, that is from left to right and from right to left. Let me show you a simple demonstration. So I'll take an example of a list starts from 0. Let me have these elements inside the list. So in two pointer approach, we will have two pointers and we can call it as start and end. So how this two pointer approach works? Based on the conditions of the problem, the start gets incremented and end gets decremented, as start starts from 0 and end starts from n minus 1. N is a number of elements in the list, so it starts from n minus 1 position. If the list is containing 5 elements, it starts from fourth index. Based on the conditions of the problem, start moves towards right side or the end moves towards left side. So this is how two pointer approach works. So without wasting time, let us start applying this approach on real DSA problems. Valid palindrome is an easy level problem which could be solved by using two pointer approach efficiently by considering time complexity as well as space complexity while writing the code in order to ensure that all the test cases will be passed. Firstly, let me read out the problem. A phrase is a palindrome if, after converting all the uppercase letters into lowercase letters and removing all non-alpha numeric characters, it reads the same forward and backward. Alphanumeric characters include letters and numbers. Given a string yes, written true if it is a palindrome or false otherwise. Before jumping into the implementation, we have to trace it so that we understand the algorithm. Firstly, we need to understand what is palindrome is all about. Palindrome is something whose original value appears to be same as its reversed form, be it a number, list of elements, or a string. If the original value is same when it is reversed, then it is considered as a palindrome. I take up a number 1, 2, 1. So this is the original value. And if I try to reverse it, if I try to write this number in a reverse order, it will be 1 to 1. Same. Similarly, string like madam. If I write it in a reverse order, it will be madam itself. So let us trace the problem titled valid palindrome. As per the problem statement, will be given with a string. Let me take my own example and I have to apply two pointer approach. Whenever we are solving any problem in LeetCode, there will be n number of test cases, which is very hard to predict how it will be. In some test cases, there will be symbols. In some test cases, there will be capital letters. So we need to ensure that all the capital letters are converted into small letters or lowercase and the symbols are removed in order to ensure that only alphabets as well as numericals will be considered as a string. For that, there is a special built-in function in Python. We'll have to use two built-in functions. One is to convert all the uppercase letters into lowercase letters, and the other built-in function is to consider only alphanumerical values. Before applying two pointer approach, so I'll be taking a variable called str2, and at the beginning itself I'll be converting all the letters in the given string to lowercase with a built-in function called lower. So this ensures that if the string contains uppercase, for example, be it madam with the capital letter M, it converts it into all small letters. Secondly, I need to consider that only alphabets and numerical values will be considered. For that, I'll be deriving a for loop saying that for every element in the string str2, now we need to use this variable because we have already converted all the letters of yes into lowercase and stored it in str2. So I'll be taking a new variable called original, and initially it will be empty. If high is alphanumeric, then it will be added to original. So this ensures that only alphabets and numerical values will be added to the string variable called original. Suppose the string is 3 ampersand em, and this function ensures that original will have only numericals and alphabets by removing ampersand symbol. So once we are obtained with the processed string, we are ready to apply this two pointer approach. So all this code which I have written will be the primary or initial part of the whole solution. So we have got a string which is stored in original variable, and let me write the indices in this. Yes is 0, this is the starting point, and this is the ending. So initially start will be 0 and end will be 4. We need to check a condition checking whether original of S is equal to original of E. That is, this condition checks that whether M is equal to M, because at index 0 and 4 at the both positions M is present, so condition satisfied. Then S will be incremented with 1, E will be decremented with 1, it becomes 3. Again A will be compared with A, so both are equal, condition is satisfied. S will be 2, E will be 2, D will be compared with D, condition is satisfied. So thereby we can say that this is a palindrome. Let me try to put the last part in code. We can clearly say that yes initially is 0, end is n minus 1, that is 4. Since 5 characters are there, n should be 4. In order to traverse through all the letters, I need a loop. So I'll be deriving a while loop by saying that all the statements associated with the while loop should get executed repeatedly until yes is less than or equal to e. I need to check a condition saying that if original of yes is equal to original of e, then s should be incremented with 1, e should be decremented with minus 1. Suppose in any test case, it is possible to have a string like this. So here we have got m at one extreme position, that is yes, and at the end we have got n. Therefore, m is not equal to n. In such cases, we need to come out of the for loop by returning false directly. Because even if you find any set of characters which are not equal to each other, it is better to come out of the for loop by returning false, as definitely it will not be a palindrome. And if all the letters are traversed, if the control moves out of the while loop after executing all the statements, it's better to return true. And this statement is executed after executing all the statements. Let me try to implement it now. Firstly, I need to convert all the letters into lowercase. and I'll take up a new string variable called original. Let it be empty initially. Then I need to process the string by removing symbols and keeping only alphanumerical values. For that, I'll be using a function, special built-in function called is alnum. If the element is either number or alphabet, it will be added. Then I'll be taking a new variable called start and initialize with 0. Another variable called end. It should be initialized with n minus 1, that is length of the string. I'll be using while loop to traverse the letters in a string. So if this particular condition is satisfied, then I'll increment start with 1 and decrement end with minus 1. Else, if I encounter any two letters not same as each other, I'll come out of the while loop by returning false. If all the letters are traversed, it is pretty sure that the given string is a palindrome. So I'll be returning true. Let me execute it. So 3 test cases have been passed. Let me try to submit it now. Yes, 491 test cases have been passed.